Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite life. And today is July 5th, and I figured that it is the right time for me to do one of those recap videos where every half a year I will recap my entire life. Now, there's something interesting and special about this past half a year in 2023, and that's because for the first time in a very long time, I did not upload any vlogs in this channel. I did upload vlogs, like travel vlogs and me cooking food, but nothing about life. You know, the classic culture detective, me ranting and crying and whining about life every single day. That shit is gone. So a lot of you probably have no idea what the hell have I been up to and what sort of insanity I have been through in the last 6 months or so. And I figured that that is a good change of pace because fucking-ly, I should respect my own privacy. But I have to do this. I just have to, because my life feels like a fucking movie and I have to talk about it, especially for the last 6 months. I mean, surely 2022 has been an insane year, but really it is 2023 that is the most crushing, most emotionally challenging for me in a very long time. So let's do a recap. So, starting off, we have the first 10 days of round 3, which is December 19th to 29th. Actually, that's like 11 days. And these 11 days are absolutely amazing. And that's because I was in Japan. I went to Japan, I went to Tokyo for a couple of days, I went to Karuizawa, I went to Nagano, I went to Takasaki all by myself, I went to Narita all by myself, and sometimes I would be traveling with my family, going to places, sometimes I would be completely alone, solo, and either way it is a fantastic trip. In fact, this is like I think the best trip I've ever been on, period. Because this is a perfect balance between planned and also unplanned. Planned because if you go into a place without any preparation, you would just be confused and lost instead of enjoying. But unplanned, because if things are too planned and calculated, you just don't enjoy it as much. And also, I've done so many things I've never done before. Snowboarding, which was kind of hellfire, but you know what? I enjoyed it. And then we got onsen, in which I have to be naked in boiling hot water because why the fuck not? And again, all the solo traveling that I did was absolutely fantastic. The anime figurines and the manga I got are all really mwah. So yeah, the Japan trip is definitely a highlight of the ages. I had so much fun in Japan, and I'm releasing vlogs every single week coming out, so look forward to that. Nope. Now, moving on to the next arc would be December 29th to January 29th. This is arc 10. And I call this arc Gone because I was gone. This is sort of like the transitional month between Japan and going back to LA. So going back to Hong Kong, things were a lot more depressing than I last went back. The last time I went back was summer, and then this time I went back in the winter, and normally you'd think, oh, it's winter break. People, friends are gonna hang out together. Well, guess what? Not really, because their winter break, my friend's winter break, actually happens way earlier. So I ended up being alone most of the time in Hong Kong in this month. So first of all, my relationship with Pepper has completely ended. So if you remember in round 2, there's this weird situation between me and this other Hong Konger girl, Pepper, who I grew really close with, and we became really friendly to one another. And then for some reason, she started acting cold-blooded towards me again, started ignoring me again, ghosting me again, and during the Japan trip, she already ghosted me, and then I contacted Potter, my other Hong Konger friend, guy friend, and he said, no, Pepper's alive and well. Like, I don't know what you mean. So it turns out Pepper's purposefully ghosting me. So when I went back to Hong Kong, I made the decision to not talk to Pepper, like, ever, unless she says something to me, then I guess we can keep talking to each other. But aside from that, I just embraced the fact that there's nothing between Pepper and me, and not even like close friends. We just ended up not talking to each other for like a whole month until I went back to LA when I physically see her again. So that is that. But now that I'm thinking back to this weird situation, I really feel nothing for Pepper. If anything is proven from my time spent in Hong Kong not seeing Pepper at all, it's that I have no feelings for her at all completely. The reason why I was so so fussy about my relationship with Pepper is because she was like the only Hong Konger there is in the entire film program in my college. And back then I still had it was still difficult for me to go beyond that cultural barrier. So that's that. It's not the moment Zara and Leia and everyone else stop caring about sex and relationships and romance and start caring about marriage and having children. And then if they have reached that stage in life psychologically and I'm still in romance blah 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 blah, then okay, then I'm just gonna jump off a building and kill myself in the most brutal way possible. Another thing that took place while I was in Hong Kong was the UCLA film school applications, which was really nerve-wracking. And all at the same time, I reunited with a bunch of old friends. I hung out with Zara and Miriam a couple of times, I believe, and in fact, we tried to go rock climbing, and Leia was there too, but that failed, so we hung out another time together. Was that the summer or was that winter? I completely forgot. Shit. I remember vividly seeing Natalie again a couple of times, twice. And the last time I saw Natalie, I was eating pancakes with her, and it was just really chill, really nice. And yeah, I just got to hang out with friends, which is really cool. Yeah, we went rock climbing and it failed, and we hung out again. I remember now. That actually did happen. But I think the biggest and most important thing I did while I was at Hong Kong was shooting the short film, the brand new short film that I'm about to release very soon, and that is Love and Death in the Dying Light of Hong Kong. This short film was extremely difficult to film because it is pretty ambitious for my standards. Of course, I've made more ambitious films, but this one is ambitious because I am like an adult now and I have standards. And then at the same time, this film is impossible to be filmed in one day. It is a 3-day shoot, and I almost gave up. Near the end of the month of January, I tried super hard to look for people to help me. I tried super hard to look for gear and equipment, and at every turn I always fail, mainly because it is Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year, and people are busy and people are on holidays and they don't want to work. So I was at a bit of a pickle, and honestly I thought about giving up like every single day. I was extremely stressed out, and even on the first day of the shoot I thought it would not work out, but it actually somehow did. Okay, come on, 3 minutes, 3 minutes. Is this a read? Oh, yeah, there we go. This is the street. This is the street. Come on. Oh. I can do it. I can fucking do it. I can fucking do it. Oh. So I really need some answers tonight, otherwise I will shut down the whole fucking production. I really need it now. This is perfect. I'm so fucking close. So please let me do it, please. And then today, this morning, the insurance man just told me that he can't do 27th and 29th out of 26, 27, and 29. You've got to be absolutely fucking kidding me, right? I already can't find a single other crew members because the producer's guy not responding, no one else is responding, everyone else is busy. It miraculously came together, and literally I wrapped the shoot on the day before I had to fly. Literally the day before. On January 29th, I wrapped the shoot. And then on January 30th, I'm fucking gone. So there lies my re-entry into Los Angeles, the world of trash and death and hatred and anger and capitalism. Here we fucking go, boys. The detective is back. Oh my god. Okay. Let's assess the situation. Most important thing of all, I don't care about the trash can. How did this even fucking get here? My blankets. It was supposed to... Okay. I forgot to do this yesterday, so I'm going to do it today. But this is the before the semester cheer, the detective chant, okay? So let's go, detective. Follow me. Let's go, detective. Let's go, detective. Let's go, detective. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, oh boy, Arc 11. Holy shit. Oh my god. So this is where it actually becomes a whirlpool of insanity. Because this January 30th to June 30th, these 5 months is one whole arc, because there are two main things that happened in this arc that basically consumed my entire life here. So in round 2, I got the short film, I got the film festival, I got this, I got that. Round 3, it's only two things. My film class and this Chinese girl, Leslie. So, can't believe I'm talking about this. Can't fucking believe it. Now, of course, for this semester, I took other classes as well. I had to take 4 classes in order to not be deported back to Hong Kong. So I took Art History 2, which is completely online, so I have nothing to say about it. Photo 1 and Photo 2. These two photography classes, they are 3 days a week. So Photo 1 is every Monday at 11:15 p.m. a.m. and then Wednesday 11:15 a.m. and then Photo 2 is Tuesdays at 2:45 p.m. And both of these classes are very small in scale. They're not as important. I did not socialize with anyone at all for the most part. In Photo 1, I thought I would be in the same class with Pepper. Guess not. Pepper did not show up. Pepper did show up in my Photo 2 class alongside with Potter and Aoba, the Japanese girl, and a couple other people that I know of, like Diego, the Mexican guy, and Dimitri, who is a guy from Kazakhstan who has been a name that has been talked about quite some time. And these two classes are pretty fun. They're also extremely chill, not a lot of assignments, not a lot of progress in these two classes, not a lot of drama. I know a little bit of drama from my Photo 2 class, but it has nothing to do with what the fuck I have to deal with. So aside from that, there's also me looking for a job. I tried extremely hard the moment I got back to the USA. I tried really hard to look for a job because I am in desperate need of money. And I just couldn't. I tried so fucking hard. I emailed literally everyone. I emailed the school library, emailed the media department, emailed the math department. I emailed a math professor to ask if I could be a math tutor. I emailed the bookstore, I emailed the canteen, I emailed the college cafe. And it all did not fucking work. They either didn't respond, or they're not hiring international students, or the hiring process is fucking over. And surely I can just go out there, find a restaurant and work illegally, but I barely have time to do that. And even so, the chances of me getting hired is like near zero. So yeah, that's pretty tough. And even now, I still haven't found a job. So yay, I love being broke. Yee! I started thinking about partying. You know, people like Pepper going to parties. And how the Night Owl Instagram account, people like Potter also follow with Cliff. The moment I started thinking about parties and getting laid in California and socializing and weed and crack and alcohol and all that stuff and having fun, I started to think about dying. I always associate these things together because I always imagine myself in the middle of a party having a panic attack. I go home, I have a psychotic break, I grab a knife in the kitchen, and I just... and blood comes blasting out all over the kitchen, and all over the ceiling, and all over the ground. And the thing is, the more I think about having a girlfriend, the more it just seems like not a real thing. Like, I'm beginning to just believe that it's never going to happen to me at all in the history, throughout human history, throughout my entire life. It's not going to happen to me at all. Like, it's so... The more I think about it, the more it seems impossible. Not even impossible in an emotional way, like, damn, it's never going to happen to me. It's more like impossible in a logical way. Like, yeah, I guess I just don't see it happening at all. I'm sorry. Now, another thing I have to talk about are the film school applications, which is a very stressful and nerve-wracking thing that has been a thing from late December till April. I have applied to 7 film schools, and those 7, from my most wanted choice to my least wanted choice, is UCLA, USC, LMU, Chapman University, CSUN, Long Beach, and Santa Barbara. And I also wanted to apply to NYU, but when I saw the application and when I realized that NYU is even more expensive than USC, I decided to not apply and give up because I was already burnt out. Because at that point it was like April already and I have already written like 30-something essays. But I did try so hard. I squeezed my balls and tied my tongue and did all sorts of insane shit to churn out these essays, to make my portfolio as beautiful as ever as possible, to get people to actually write me reference letters so that I can apply to these freaking schools. USC is exactly the place to go to experience. 19 years of my life I have stayed in Hong Kong, and I am 20 years old, and I'm also... It works the other way around as well, because I believe my contributions can also help other people find their inspirations. So I look forward to coming to USC this fall. Thank you for watching. And the results are subpar, unfortunately. Yeah, first of all, UCLA rejected me. That is to be expected. I was not surprised at all. When I found out that Carly got UCLA, I know I don't stand a chance. USC, this is kind of interesting. Because they did accept me, but for film studies and not film production, and it's for spring 2024, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. But I got really close to getting into film production because they actually interviewed me, which is absolutely fucking insane, so at least there's that. LMU did not accept me, but they did accept me for screenwriting, which is eh. Chapman University rejected me, thank God, I'm happy they did. CSUN accepted me for provisional film, not the film option, and apparently everyone ended up that way, so it's not that huge a deal. Long Beach accepted me, but I'm not going there. Santa Barbara definitely accepted me, but what the fuck am I gonna do there anyways? So yeah, that's that. After careful consideration, we regret to inform you that we are unable to offer you a place in Chapman's next entering class. Oh, there we go, I got accepted. You're in, welcome to the UC Santa Barbara, blah 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 blah. We have completed our review of applicants to the Department of Film, Television, and Digital Media, and we regret to inform you that we are unable to offer you admission. And I guess one more thing I have to talk about before I get into the meat of the story is John L's short film in spring break, and also the week before spring break. I had to help John L, my Hong Konger friend who's studying in USC film master's program, holy fucking shit, for his amazing short film. And it is easily the most professional film set I've ever been on, and also the most fun I've had on a film set. And I was scripty, aka script supervisor, on that set, and it's the second time I've ever been a scripty, and I learned a lot being a scripty. I also learned a lot being on set, being on the film set, 12-hour turnarounds, the catering services, how it all comes down, the grip trucks, everything. And it was just a very fantastic experience, seeing all these scenes come to life through the monitor and me just writing down what scene, what shot, what take, what happened, what's the director's notes, and just thinking, oh my god, the script is actually becoming real, like turning into a movie. This is insane. So yeah, it was a very great experience. I thoroughly enjoyed working for John L. in his short film, and it's possibly the best set I've ever been on to date. You know what's the worst set I've ever been on? Film 33. So, now we are into the real meat of the story. Now, all this photo class, photo 2, looking for a job, those are like the side stuff. The real stuff is film 33. So the class, the most important class that I've ever taken in my college life is film 33. And now what this class is, it is the most advanced film class, the ultimate film class in the entire film program of my college, and it is taught by none other than Professor Cuchillo, which is not his real name, but I will call him Cuchillo because he is the knife and he is Mexican, so it's Spanish, haha. And he is basically the final boss of the film program in my college, and holy fucking shit, this class is pure emotional, psychological battle. It's House of Cards, it's Succession, it's Game of Thrones. You win or you die. This isn't even filmmaking. This is politics. The whole class is fucking politics. So it started out naive. Everyone was like, hopeful in the beginning. Everyone was innocent and naive and humble. And then shit started to feel strange. So first of all, the thing with this class is that we pick one script from a student, and then it's a short film script, and then we film it. The whole class films it, one short film, in one semester. That's it. Sounds simple, but it is as complicated as it can ever get. First of all, given that I know last semester's film 33, I know what happened. I already knew that it's going to be bad, but I didn't know that it's going to be this bad, because surely my film 33 is easily one of the worst film 33s in this college's history to date. And yeah, starting off it was fine. It was humble beginnings, surely. And then things started to be weird when the professor decided to not choose a script from a student and decided to choose a script from an outsider, which was the first red flag. And I'm gonna bring snacks. I'm gonna bring a bottle of water. Fuck it, I'm gonna bring a bottle of water. I'm gonna go to CMD tomorrow like I'm going to the fucking trenches, okay? This is war, guys. This is fucking war. And then we have the hierarchy. On the first class, the professor was like, oh, there's no hierarchy. Everyone's equal. Everyone are equally students. Yeah, that is a bold-faced lie, because immediately there is a hierarchy. The director's seat went to Carly, a Korean, Japanese, American girl. And she's a weird choice. And then second of all, we have the producers, which are Birkin and Zach, a Turkish guy and a tall white guy, who I have worked with before. They seem fine at first, but they're not fine at all. I think ultimately they did a good job being producers. They try really hard, but goddamn, is Zach a fucking dick. And then the director of photography, the cinematographer, went to Jonathan, who is a very chill guy. And he got fucked over because the professors did not give him any creative freedom. And then on top of that, every single department in the class had its own drama, whether it be in the art department, where people like Ava and Trinity and Jaden are beefing with Sidlali, the art director, and Sidlali only got the position of art director because of nepotism, because he's dating Zach, the fucking producer. So the whole thing is biased. And then another thing is Liana getting the job of second AD. She's only getting that because she's dating the other fucking producer. It's nepotism. And she also already had a boyfriend, so AKA she's cheating. And that is only the tip of the iceberg. really, at every single turn of this class, there is new drama. There is more to unfold. When the professor announced that there will be overnight shoots, some people started to quake. I did not. I was actually low-key excited for overnight shoots, but Theo, the Italian man, whom I've probably mentioned a few times already, he was in the class and he got upset and he emailed the higher-ups. And that caused a whole fight. Tyler, the first AC, almost had a fight with Theo, which is absolutely insane, and Theo almost got fired. But I think one of the craziest moments is really the mole. And for me personally, I managed to survive all the drama for the most part. I managed to make friends with literally everyone and try to gain as much knowledge as possible, because knowledge is power. But no, power is power, because with all that knowledge in my head, with all the drama in my head, I did not rise to the tip top at the end. So I wanted to be production manager, because that is like the second most powerful tier in this class. The thing is, I'm not the only one who's going for UPM. Benny's going for UPM. Benny, who is this tall white guy, incredibly charismatic, extroverted, incredibly proactive, and right off the bat, he knocked me out of the park. The producers got him as UPM and shoved me to the side and made me location manager. And honestly, I wasn't even that pissed, because location managers still have a lot to do and it's still kind of powerful if you think about it. Because Benny slowly but surely near the end of the semester took my role. So yeah, I did organize a lot of location scouts. I did help out with finding locations and talking to people, emailing a bunch of people, Film LA, Torrance Film Office, whatever. But he took my job at the end. So that's pretty bad. But yeah, this film 33 is just nothing but drama, power struggle, and it was incredibly stressful. Even though on the shoot itself, I didn't have like a gigantic, huge role or anything. Like I was chilling on a couch for the most part. But it was still incredibly stressful, because every single person I see, they're either suffering because they're victims or they're making other people suffering. And it is easily the most toxic and abusive film set I've ever been on. And it's going to be very difficult to top this set.
I hate my fucking life.
Hey, hold.
Fuck this house. Fuck this house. Love you, love this house. Oh, shit. What's going on? Yeah, the shoot itself is absolutely fucking miserable. The food was bad. A lot of people got food poisoning. A lot of people had mental breakdowns because of the overnight shoots. A few people got sick, including me. And lots of yelling, lots of shouting at each other, and nobody had a good time. Nobody.
Only doing nothing.
Yeah, because it's like takes.
Yeah, only 2 takes.
I'm surprised. I thought you guys did like 10 takes already.
What? No.
No, just to, I don't want, I have to get something from the car, but
Okay.
I'm not
Don't talk to him about this.
And on day 3 out of the 8 days of the shoot, I was like, you know what, fuck it. I don't want to sit at a side and be invisible and be ignored and be abandoned. I brought my own camera with me to set to start documenting people, to film BTS. And I filmed so much that right now in my hard drive, I have 130 gigabytes worth of footage, including Tova's footage. So Tova is the BTS person who had to leave after day 2 because the producers did not like her, because they think she's interrupting with people. And in fact, the producers just don't want footage of people being upset being shown. They want the BTS to film all the good parts, and they don't want the BTS team to film all the bad parts. And that's where I come in, because in class, during class, I act so nice and innocent and calm. Nobody would ever think I'm actually capable of being malicious. Especially in the last 3 days of the shoot, I slept for 2 hours, 3 hours, and then like 3.5 hours respectively. I was so tired, so sleepy all the time. It was near death, and I hurt myself by accident. and shaved off a chunk of my finger here. Luckily it's healed now, so that's that. Just injured myself, lost a slice of my finger. I'm loving it. I'm enjoying the pain.
He said some things that about the film. No, about the film program, about the shoot. To Carly.
Which I think is fair, and
that's fair to have qualms.
But yeah, Film 33 is really terrible, and I'm glad I'm not the only person who thinks that way. And there are tons of people who also think that the professor sucks ass, and yeah, it's horrible. It's a nightmare, and it's the big thing too. For Film 33, part of my plan is to look for PAs, because that way I can gain a lot of power, because I would be in charge of the PAs. So I was in Film 33 class, which is every Thursday, and on Wednesdays and Fridays there are the Film 32 classes. So I would go down to 32 to look for PAs, and I actually gained a lot of friends and knew a lot more drama from that, and gained a lot of alliance, so at least there's that. But even so, I lost a lot of power, and near the end the professor basically banned me from the pickup day, so that was quite hectic. Alright, so let's continue with the story, with I think the most emotionally damaging thing that has ever happened to me since I don't even know, since the persecution in 2016. So right now I seem fine, I talk fine, but as you may probably know, or maybe you won't know, what happened to me roughly a month ago was so emotionally damaging that I just couldn't do anything. I was so unmotivated to do anything. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I cried a lot, and it was really bad. And that is all thanks to a Chinese girl. Yeah, a Chinese girl, or I would like to call her the monster. So it all started in really back in February when I had Film 33, you know, we had breaks. And at that point I already knew, because by January I already knew, okay, Pepper doesn't matter. So and also because Pepper isn't going to take any film classes anymore, she's basically out of the CMD canon. And CMD, of course, refers to Center of Media and Design, which is the campus of my college where all the film classes take place at. So really, culturally, the only other person who I can really relate to and talk to, and who is someone who is like friends with me, is a Chinese girl by the name of Leslie, who I became friends with. If you remember this, last year in November, me, Leslie, and Cliff, the Malaysian guy, went to the Academy Museum together and hung out. So we're tight together. So during the Film 33 breaks, I would just go around and see if Leslie's nearby, because she also takes editing classes on that day. And that was the beginning of me realizing that she's actually a really interesting person. Her personality is really interesting, and her aesthetic is really artistic and kind of edgy. She has dyed hair, so in round 2 her hair is red, like black with streaks of red, and then she turned blue. Thus I called that period Blue Period. And then we have her just saying shit like, I want to die, and I hate everyone, and I hate the society. Just this like fuck everything attitude. And I realized she's actually really interesting. And then I learned more and more about her, and people talk about her. People think of her as this really weird person. They think she's crazy. And also she became the guardian spirit of CMD, where essentially we have the professors, and then we have this side professor who is not really a professor, Drew, who is in charge of the storage room and is usually the production coordinator for all the short films that the college makes. And usually he has an assistant. So Leslie became sort of a guardian spirit. She would reappear and then disappear, and she would always hang out around CMD, moving cameras, moving tripods, moving lights, and she would be doing all sorts of mysterious things and no one really knows what's going on. So there's that mysterious aura about her. And I became more and more interested, and then one time I met her in the middle of March, and she talked about how for her Film 32 class, she wants to recreate Breathless, which is this French New Wave film from 1960, but Wong Kar-wai styled, which means that the characters will be speaking in Cantonese, and she will need my help because of course Pepper exists, but I'm more important, let's be honest here. So she needs my help because I'm the only person who speaks Cantonese in the college film program. And so after that point, I really thought that's kind of sweet of her to think of me when she proposed this idea. And then I realized, now this is gonna get really personal, so I don't want to get into ugly details, but I realized that I have some feelings for her. And at that point, I wasn't really sure. Like, again, with Pepper was pretty much a false alarm. I never really had feelings for her. I just thought I did, and it was just an illusion. So I thought it was a false alarm. So I told myself, you know what, I'll wait 1 week. And if 1 week later I still think she's really interesting and I want to know more about her and I like her, then maybe it's real. So I told Michelle, who slowly became my closest friend, even closer than Pepper ever had, even closer than Potter ever had been. Michelle, this half Persian, half Latina girl, became my closest friend, mainly because I tell her all the drama about Film 33, and I tell her about Leslie, and then she would tell me all the drama she knows. And slowly but surely, I became more and more interested in Leslie. And then we have the Seven Samurai incident, where if you're caught up with my lore, you would know that I went to the $1 million theater in downtown LA to watch Seven Samurai on 35mm film, which was crazy. And on that day, I was thinking about Leslie, I was thinking about her. And even after entering the theater, I thought of her. And then suddenly I received a DM from her saying, I see you. Apparently, she's also in the same theater. What the fuck? And Drew was there too, of course. And so on that night, I thought, if God exists, this must be a sign. This is it. She loves movies. She's artsy and edgy, and she's nice to me, and she can be funny at times. And culturally, we're not that different. And politically, sure, there's this weird, awkward political tension between China and Hong Kong, but I've talked to her a little bit about politics, and we seem to be on the same page. That's her. I love movies with intermissions. Because Leslie's also showed quite a bit of herself to me and other people, and I'm thinking maybe there's so much more to her that she's not showing me, and I feel like she's probably a pretty complicated person too, because of all the, how edgy she is, how anxious and nervous she gets, and then her relationship with her signature, and then she actually showed me. She has a freaking notebook. She writes diaries too, which is so fucking cute. I write diaries too. I used to write them. I don't anymore. And I think the highlight is really Breathless. So around late April to early May, we worked on Breathless together. Because when I took Film 32 and I pitched a scene so that the class would film the scene together, the professor rejected my pitch for some mysterious reasons. So me and Leslie working on Breathless together while I write the Cantonese lines and she writes the Mandarin lines is just peak. And I feel like this project is now partially mine too. And there's just something incredibly Shakespearean about me having a crush on her and she doesn't know it. And she speaks Mandarin and I speak Cantonese. And when we're writing Breathless together, we were upstairs at the CMD building and we're on a little sitting area and we're sitting together. While we were writing Breathless together, the character who speaks Cantonese is trying to flirt with the girl who speaks Mandarin and is not sure if the girl likes him back or not. And this is reality and this is the script we're working on. It's parallel. It's like looking into a mirror and she doesn't know. And that night was magical. But there's this girl that she hangs out with all the time. She's hanging out with her for like 4 years now. Every time she goes back to China, she hangs out with this girl, but they never speak. Last time Leslie went back, it was winter of 2020, between 2022 to 2023, right? I think it was January this year, actually. And one day they had dinner, and the dinner went for 4 hours. They hung out for 4 years, but that was the first time Leslie found out who she really is and how she really thinks. And Leslie found out that they're actually really similar. They actually think alike. The more she realizes that she's in love with her, and she just hopes that she comes here to USA and they could move to another city and live a normal life forever. Fuck. But that is also when things started to go a little south, because she talked about how she's in love with another Chinese girl. So I began to feel worried, and I started crying, and I started feeling scared. The next 3 days was pretty tough, the next few days, but it got even tougher very soon. So of course, I and Leslie and Drew watched Kurosawa's Ran together at the Arrow Theater, which was absolutely amazing, one of my favorite films of all times. And shortly after that, in early May, I decided, you know what? And if I don't tell her my feelings, I will forever regret it. I already forever regret what I did with Mary, so I will not lose my opportunity this time. This must be my redemption arc. This is fucking it. This is fucking it, okay? I went to Tokyo, to that temple in Asakusa, and I pulled out a stick, and it was like fortune telling stick, and it told me that I'm gonna have great luck. And then I held that piece of paper beside my face and said, guys, I'm gonna get a girlfriend this year. When I did that, I was joking. But maybe I wasn't. Maybe it's true. Maybe this fortune telling bullshit, maybe it's not so much of a bullshit actually. Maybe this is it. This is my redemption arc. I've been lonely. I've been so socially awkward for the last 19 years of my life. And now I'm climbing the ladder. I'm climbing the ladder in Los Angeles. I'm climbing the film school ladder. And this girl, she's perfect for me. And she's nice to me, actually. I mean, Mary is great and nice, but I never really had real interactions with Mary. But this is different. This is real. This is it, guys. This is it. So I decided to confess. But I didn't do it with, just directly. Of course, given that it's me, I did it in a very, very roundabout way. So I plan to confess to her in late May, right before the short film shoot. And the reason being is there's a great chance that she will reject me. And if she does reject me, and we still have to go to school together, and I still see her, it's going to be awkward. So I want to confess to her at the very, very, very end, so that if she, in the event that she rejects me, it's going to be less awkward and less emotionally painful for me. But also another thing is, if I straight up just tell her, it's going to be shocking because no one would expect this to happen. She wouldn't see this coming. And also, she's not the type of girl who would be a conventional girlfriend material. She's very much the opposite of that. So if I straight up tell her my feelings, I'm just going to scare her to death. So my plan is I'm going to tell her that I have a crush on someone in early May and have her guess. And then only at the very end of May will I tell her who it is. And hopefully by then she would have already figured out who it is. It's her herself. So that when I do tell her, she'll be like, oh, I knew it. I already knew it. I figured it out. So that it wouldn't come as much of a shock. Which means that there's a higher chance that she will not just straight up reject me. Maybe she'll be nice about it. So, in early May, I told her I have a crush on someone. And in 10 minutes, she already figured out that it's her herself. But I still managed to deny that and avoid the question, so much so that she begins to think that maybe it's not her herself. And then she told me that she's still in love with that other Chinese girl, maybe, but her idea of love is kind of messy. It's not like either you love or not. Her idea of love is very Wong Kar-wai. It's very hazy. And then she told me how somebody confessed to her when she was in junior high, and that traumatized her. And that guy did the exact same thing. Oh, I have a crush on someone. Can you guess who? And turns out it's her herself. And so after she said that, I realized that there's no chance she'll actually accept me. And I cried for 2 days straight after that. It was really bad. Plus the stress from Film 33. You need to remember that when all this happens, Film 33, literally the worst class of the entire film school history, is happening at the same time. So it was added stress. So it was stress on top of stress. I named all the girls in my class except for me, and turns out she had a crush on me. What the fuck? This had happened to her before already? This is both dreadfully anxiety-inducing and funny at the same time. This is terrible. It's gonna be so tough for me to move on from that. It's gonna be like Mary all over again. It's like, how many years will it take for me to find another girl? How many years? All these things I fantasized, right? Like me teaching her Cantonese and she teaching me Mandarin, and like eating food together, me cleaning up her bedroom. They will forever stay fantasies. And so as planned, I confessed to her. And even before the confession, we still grow really close. We still talk once every 2 days. She would, talk random shit about movies, about how much she wants to die and kill herself, about just stuff in general, cats, and I would talk about drama, and I would talk about, whatever, updates on My Film 33. She's not in My Film 33, not technically. And then May 20th happened, and on that day, I looked stupid. I had acne on my face, I had ridiculously long hair, but for some reason I was really confident that day. I had so much riz that Leslie, originally I was gonna confess to her right before the shoot, on a Monday or something, but Leslie was like, just tell me now, because I already know who it is, just so it doesn't matter, just tell me now. So on that day I told her, and long story short, I spent a whole hour confessing to her, and I cried. I didn't plan to cry, but I did cry, because I'm just emotional like that, and I totally expected her to reject me, and she did not. She actually said, yeah, well, we can work it out, yeah. And I was shocked. I thought, holy fuck, this is me? I had imposter syndrome for a couple of days. I didn't think it was real. Ladies and gentlemen, she said yes. How the idea of someone, I know she's not in love with me, but just the idea of someone accepting me and willing to work it out with me, for instance, going out, with this fucking idiot, it's just insane. It's no way it's real. It's too good to be true. It's too good to be true. Because, ironically, right after the confession, she started treating me like shit. She would walk past me and didn't say hi. She would act cold-blooded towards me. And it's weird. I thought after confessing to her and being honest with her, I thought she would start treating me, or I didn't expect her to treat me well, but at least treat me nice, you know, and not be mean and cold-blooded. And things started to go worse when the short film shoot happened for film 33. And the funny thing is, even though she's not in the class, but she has become a guardian spirit, so she somehow became part of the class. So I had to see her every day. On the first day of the shoot, she treated everyone like shit, including me. And I didn't feel good about it, especially how much I expressed myself in front of her. So that night I just asked her, like, did I say something wrong to you? Like, what's going on? Did I say something and are you angry at me? And she fucking ghosted me. So I'm like, okay, well, she can ghost me online, but I can see her in person because we have the fucking short film shoot. So in person, I went up to her and she's really busy. So I went up to her when she's like relatively free and I said, can we have a moment? Can we talk? And she's like, why? Can we talk? Just give me 5 minutes. 3 minutes, 2 minutes. Why? I'm like, it has nothing to do with the shoot, come on. And she's like, well, it had nothing to do with the shoot, then just don't say it now. And apparently she also treated everyone else like shit. She yelled at people. And I get it, it's a stressful environment, I totally get it. So I thought, okay, fine, then I'll tell it to her right after the shoot. So the shoot ended and she completely ignored me. She did not text me once. She did nothing. And I didn't try texting her either because I don't want to annoy her, because I have a feeling that if I text her, she'll just keep ghosting me. So the only way to handle this is to really see her in person. So the shoot was over, and about a week later, I went back to CMD to see her in person. And she was relatively nice about it. She's like, oh, I don't know, and during the shoot, it wasn't like she acted like complete shit towards me, because from time to time, she would walk up to Benny, who I previously mentioned, who stole my UPM job. She would walk up to Benny and talk to Benny about me. And then she would walk up to Ariel, another girl, and she would talk about me. So obviously something's happening. It's just, we're just in an awkward phase, you know? So maybe there's still a chance. Yeah, sure, our relationship is a little bit damaged, but there's still a chance, right? Right? Wrong. After I met her in person, we bought the tickets to 2001: A Space Odyssey together, and everything seemed fine until after that she still continued to ignore me. And she still continued to ghost me. Benny told me something extremely interesting, and that is, apparently Leslie went up to Benny and asked, should I talk to Enoch? Which is really weird. Also, my original plan is to fucking ignore Leslie for at least a whole week after the shoot, because I need a fucking break from her, because she's so frustrating of a person to speak to, because she treats me like shit. So she has it coming. If we and immediately Leslie's like, hi, and I'm like, hi, and it was a little awkward between us. And anyways, I think that technically means I just asked her out. I don't really know what asking people out really means. Again, I've never even confessed to a girl before, so I immediately told Leslie, okay, please don't let Betsy know that Michelle told me this. And then Leslie just said, no, N-O. Fuck. So, I don't know. I'm not gonna be mad at Leslie. And because the semester is already over for me, I can't keep seeing her in person anymore. So I decided to give her a phone call. And that was June 20th, exactly 1 month after the confession. And in the phone call, she finally admitted that it was actually a no the whole time. She didn't reject me because she was curious what's going to happen next. She actually never had any intentions of being with me. And she doesn't really like me. And she's been leading me on the whole time. And I told her, okay, but at least you should be nice to me. And she's like, yeah, but I truly don't care about human interaction, socializing. I don't care. And that phone call is end all. It's the end. Like, even before that phone call, I still had like a glimpse of hope. You know, oh, maybe we'll get back together. Maybe I'll see her again. You know, it's still gonna work out, right? But after that phone call, it was completely over. And I mean, we never dated, so that wasn't really a breakup, but it feels like one, because she said yes and then took a whole month to lie to me and treat me like shit and then say no to me exactly 1 month later. And she keeps saying, well, yeah, I don't care about human interactions. I don't even text my mom because I hate my mom. And I'm like, yeah, well, I just called my dad. I didn't speak to my dad for half a year, and last Sunday I called my dad because I know he cares about me. If I wake up every morning waiting for her to text me, and even though I don't care about speaking to my family cares about me. That's why I text them. That's why I fucking talk to them. Because it's called being nice. It's called human decency. I just cried again. It's so easy for me to cry. Like, time now is 3:03 p.m. I cried again. Yeah, it hurt so much. It really hurt so much. I don't know, it's really tough. It's 6:30, it's 4:38. I want to cry again. It's like the third time I'm crying today. I just really need to speak to someone, you know? Of course I had to cry again, so I just cried a small tiny cry. It's uncontrollable. So obviously that didn't feel very good, and I cried for 2 days straight. It was so bad. It was so emotionally painful for me that it actually became physically painful. For 2 days, I was stuck at home. I couldn't move. I couldn't go out. I couldn't film reviews. I couldn't do anything. It got so bad that I desperately needed human interaction, so I started hanging out with people. I hung out with Potter and told him this. I hung out with Thomas. I hung out with Tova. And that's pretty much the end of the story. And not exactly the end, because there's still 2001: A Space Odyssey. We still have to go see that film together. And that's what we did. We saw that film together a few days ago on June 30th. And I considered that day to be the real ending of round 3, because after this film, we're done. I and Leslie were completely done. I like her, I respect her, and I hope she gets healthier. I hope she has a better attitude towards people, and I hope she has a great life. But Jesus Christ. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, so that's that. We watched the film together and it was a pretty awkward ending, pretty anticlimactic. It's obvious that she doesn't want to talk to me. I tried to talk to her, but seeing her condition, well, I guess I just have to let it be. So yeah, that is incredibly fucked up, and I feel betrayed. I feel that I'm lied to, and it did not feel good. No, it did not. So here's a quick sneak peek of round 4. Now, because USC admitted me for spring 2024, I couldn't go anywhere. I have to stay in this college for 1 more semester, which is absolutely fucking unnecessary. Which means that I have to see this Chinese girl, Leslie, even more. Which means I have to deal with these people even more. So there's literally nothing I can do other than revenge. So I and Tova, with all the BTS footage that both of us have, are planning to secretly edit a documentary to overthrow Film 33. Or not overthrow, but at least hurt Film 33. We're film students. We fight film with film. And also another thing is Professor Cuchillo, the evil authoritarian professor that he is part of the reason why Leslie lost her humanity and became a monster. She used to be nice, you know. Last year when we went to the Academy Museum together, she was nice. Or even earlier this year. But as every week goes by, she loses more and more of her humanity, and that's partially because of Kuchio's fault. So yes, I will use all my power to do nothing but to fight this motherfucker next semester for 6 months straight until I get to USC. So, thus my revenge arc begins. So, how have you been? Comments below, let me know. Subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching.